Hello and welcome to the channel. I hope you're all well. Today we're going to tie a fly that is generally considered to be a wet fly, but I'm going to tie it for a very specific purpose. The soldier palmer was first tied nearly 400 years ago, and at that time was used for both trout and salmon. Its fame was highlighted in The Complete Angler, that great angling tome by Isaac Walton, which was published in 1653. Unfortunately, I cannot regale you with tales of using the soldier palmer as a salmon fly, but as in many cases through time and the evolution of fly fishing, it became an almost go-to fly in lock style fishing, where it was tied on the cast as a bob fly on the top dropper, then dibbled and skated on the surface of the water at the end of the retrieve. I'm going to tie a dry fly version that is ideally suited for twitching on a still water surface or skating on the river. You don't have to cast to a specific rising fish because trout will come to this fly blind. I'll tell you how and when to fish this fly later on. So let's get into the tying. In the vise I have a size 14 dry fly hook. Now you can tie bigger or smaller, but that's the size that I'm going to tie with. And I'll be tying with red 10-0 thread. Right, I'm going to start this a little bit back from the eye because there's going to be quite a lot going on at the front when the fly is tied at the end. So I'll trim off that excess. And now the body of the original fly was probably red wool. Now, as I want this to be a floating fly, wool holds water, and I don't want that sort of problem with the floating fly. So I'm going to use this Glow Bright multi yarn in red, and I'm just going to snip a piece off. And I'm going to double it to create a length. Try and level up the ends. And I'm just going to snip off to try and level up the ends. And tie it in. Just pull that back to the thorax area. And tie down to the end of the hook shank. Like so. Now the length of the tail is generally around half the length of the hook shank, so about that long. Just trim this up like so. The piece that I've just cut off I'm going to use for the body, so I won't discard that for the moment. Right, now, when the original tying was done, it was probably done with gold wire or maybe gold thread, but they are quite heavy, so I'm going to use a plastic tinsel, which is a gold prismatic tinsel, because I want to keep this as light as possible. I'm just going to tie that in, pull that to length, bind it in. Now I'm going to give that a couple of wraps to create a gold tag at the rear of the fly. Like so, and tie it off. And then I'm going to fold it back because I'm going to be using this as the rib on the hackle, like so. Right, now for the body, as I said, I'm going to use the rest of this material. Let me just square off that end again. And bind that down. and back up. Don't worry about these pieces at the end here. They will get bound in with the body material. And just wind on the body material along the body. Try and keep it as even in thickness as you can. That may mean that you have to overlap with some of the strands. And tie off the yarn. And trim up the body material. Right, now for the hackle, I'm going to use ginger grizzly cock hackle. And I've taken one off. And what I'm going to do is use half and half. So I'm going to split this in the middle or around the middle, pull back the fibers and snip out the point like so. I'm just going to take away a couple of the fibers at the base and tie that in. Like so. And I'm going to get my hackle pliers and wind this onto the body. Now you're probably only going to need, for a size 14, maybe 3 winds. So we'll see how we get on. Didn't want that to happen, so I'll put it in again. Fairly open wraps going down the body, like so. And I'm going to use the tinsel to trap the hackle. Just release that. And then wind up the body. Try and filter it in between the fibers. You will, as a matter of course, trap some fibers of the hackle. That doesn't matter. Up to the thorax area. And tie off the tinsel. And trim up the tinsel and trim up the point of the hackle. Just pull those fibers back and tidy up. Right, now the front hackle, as I said, I'm going to use the lower part of the feather. Just going to take away some of this fluff at the bottom and trim up the stalk. And tie that in. I'm going to take my hackle pliers and wind on the front hackle. Now the amount of turns will depend upon how bushy you want it, but I would say 2 or 3 turns would be sufficient for this fly. And tie off the hackle. Again, you're going to trap hackles, but don't worry about that. We'll pull them back or trim them up, whichever. And take out the hackle. Pull back the fibers and build the head. And tie off the fly. And trim up the tying thread. Now I am going to put just a little bit of varnish onto the head to enhance the head and to seal the thread. like so. Give that a zap. I'll just get rid of that hackle there. Let's have a look at the fly. And that's the fly finished. Just get rid of that bit of hackle there. Now, when to fish it and how to fish it. If you're fishing on still water, then I would cast this as a single fly, and just if you don't get a take straight away, then just dibble it along, just pull it and twitch it, and fish will come to it. And the same for the river. Cast it, I normally cast it upstream, no reason why you shouldn't cast it downstream, and just skate it if nothing comes to it straight away. And both instances, don't forget to degrease your leader, and if necessary you can put some floatant on this, and I am sure that you will catch fish with it, as I have done in the past on many occasions. So thanks very much for viewing. I hope you enjoyed the tying. Don't hesitate to give it a thumbs up, share it if you wish, become a subscriber if you're not already a subscriber, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.